Hello again and welcome to Nine Finger Photography. Today we're going to be discussing the 35mm camera, and more specifically the Nikon FM10. You will need a camera and the sheet, the worksheet that goes along. We will be labeling all the important parts that we need, and this sheet will act as a study guide for you and also a review when you do use the camera. So let's begin. Number one is pointing to this right here, which is the rewind button / open. The main thing to remember on that is underneath the camera there is a button that you need to depress and push down before you rewind. Then you may rewind your film and then you release by pushing it up or pulling it up, and your film would be in here. To load the film, you would stretch it across the back, but that is another lesson. So number one is the film rewind / open. Number two is pointing to the shoe. The shoe is for the flash attachment. We will not be using that, but you need to know what it is. It's the flash attachment, which we call the shoe. Number two is the shoe. Number three is a little window in the large wheel here with the numbers on it. In that window you'll see numbers ranging 100, 200, 400, 800. That is for our film speed, and you adjust it by lifting up the ring and turning it. Number four is this black lever here. That is the on / film advance. In order to turn the camera on, it must be out in this fashion or this manner. If it's on this, the camera is off and it cannot take a picture. When it's out like that, then you press the shutter, it will take a photograph, or more specifically a latent image. Then you can advance it, and now you are ready for the next picture. Remember, if you don't want to take one accidentally, keep the film advance all the way against the camera body. Number five is pointing to the viewfinder. The viewfinder, we will look through there to see, number one, if our picture's in focus, and number two, we'll be able to see the built-in light meter and see if our aperture and our shutter speed are working together. Number five is the viewfinder. Number six is this entire camera. It's the body of the camera. Okay? Number six is the body. It is our light-tight box that protects the film from being exposed. Now I'll turn the camera around, and here we have number seven is pointing to the shutter, which we already discussed. The shutter. We pull, and that actually takes the picture. Number eight is the ring closest to the camera body, and that ring is the aperture ring. That controls the size of the opening in the lens, which controls the amount of light. Numbers will range on the FM10 from 3.5 to 22. That is number 8, which is the aperture ring. Number 9 is the furthest ring on the camera, and that's our focus. That is how we focus it when we have our eye looking through the viewfinder. We focus it. The middle here does not have a number, but that's a mini zoom we have, going from 70 millimeters to 35 for a little bit close-up shots. Okay, it's a mini zoom, but number 9 was the focus. Number 10 is pointing to the lens. The main thing there is to make sure you don't touch with your fingers, and when you need to clean it, please use a lens cleaning cloth. Okay, do not use tissues or anything else, only a lens cleaning cloth. As we turn to the top view of the camera, we have number 11, which is the wheel with all of the numbers ranging from B1, 2 up to 2000 in different increments. This is our shutter speed. We will mainly use it at 60, so we can start it off at 60. Alright, the main thing is if you go 30 or below, you need to have a support system and set the camera down, either using a tripod or other things we'll discuss in a later chapter. Number 12 is pointing to our little window right above the shutter release, or right to the right of the shutter release, which is the film counter. That counts how many pictures we have taken, or more specifically, latent images. But that is number 12 is the counter. Number 13 again, where we started, one of the earlier ones, the film advance, to give you another view. That is the film advance / on. This is in the off position. When you push it or pull it towards you, then it is on, and we can then push the shutter release. And number 14 is the film advance the film rewind / open. Remember, before you rewind, to depress the bottom button. Now, what are you actually going to see when you look through the viewfinder? You are going to see a series of either a red plus, a green dot, or a red minus. When you look through, the first thing you're going to do is set the camera at 60, which we have already, the shutter speed. Then we'll look through the viewfinder. We'll focus our image. Then we will turn the camera on, and we will press down slightly on the shutter. Not the whole way, just slightly. And when we push down, we will see any combinations, either a red minus, a green dot, or a red plus. You might see both, a red dot and a green dot, a red plus or a green dot, or both. If you see both, or just a red, you want to adjust the aperture until you only see the green dot. If you go the whole way through, your f-stops, which is another name for our aperture, and you cannot get anything red. I mean, you only see the red, either the minus or the plus. You cannot get the green dot to light up. You might have to increase or decrease your shutter. So if you increase it and then go through, then you should be able to have just the green dot. Once you have the green dot lined up, then it's okay to take a photograph. I like to double check my focus in case I bumped it, but then as I press through, I see the green dot. It's okay to snap the picture and then advance to the next one. Now, that's it. Basically, how to use the 35mm. But remember, we start off at 60 on our shutter speed. We look through the viewfinder, adjust the aperture until we see a green dot. If we do not have a green dot, you might want to increase or decrease the shutter. Work through the f-stops again until you get the green dot, and only the green dot. Then you may push and take a photograph. Now, you know how to use the camera. We know how to adjust the aperture / shutter speed. The next thing you'll need to do is get your 35mm assignment sheet. And this has a variety of different things and ideas for you to take photographs of. Most of them are like our rules of composition. No background. We have leading lines, rule of thirds, candid, reflection. These are some suggestions for you. I would try to take 10 of these maybe out of the 20. Then the other 10, take what you want to take. Remember, we want you to have fun and take pictures. Now, on the back of this paper, you will generally see a photo log. And this photo log has some very important information. We want you to, number one, write down the shutter speed. So after we take a picture, we want to write down, look at it and go, this one was 30 seconds. We write down 30. We check what the aperture was on the camera. Remember, it's the closest ring. This was 3.5. I would write 3.5. Then I would look at the light conditions and write down what the light conditions were. Inside, outside, sunny. And then what the subject was. Whether it was a cow, a cat, a dog, or it could be a sunset or anything else. But write what the subject is. This is very important because of keep record and also to slow you down. Otherwise you'll just take pictures and you won't fill this out. And when we develop it, we won't know if we made any mistakes. But remember, the two things that need to work in advance, the shutter speed, together, the shutter speed and aperture. And this is the film advance and on. And that is probably the most important things. Shutter speed, aperture, film advance on, shutter release, and film speed. Now you should be able to use the 35mm camera. Good luck and happy picture taking from 9 Finger Photography.